In today's high-paced world, we are constantly giving to other people, doing probably too much than we need to. That's why today's episode is so important. It is called Prioritizing Peace. Kat, you had to teach me a lot about this. I'm still learning, but it's been very
useful. Me too.
But I think that's something that we're all kind of, we all want it, right? Like, as the John Lennon song goes, give peace a chance. I've just, never really been good at calming my nervous system or, just prioritizing peace. So before we jumped on, first of all, how are you? I'm like so excited. I'm like, let's do this. And I'm like,
let's be peaceful. Let's talk about peace. No, I'm fine.
My type A kind of kicked in there.
That's okay. How are you?
I'm excited, apparently, about this.
Okay.
So I'm happy to hear you're doing good. I think with this topic, I know I need help with it. A lot of people I talk to, I think, need help. I think we're overstimulated. We live in a very fast-paced world, and sometimes we don't recognize it's actually a choice. And I think talking about prioritizing peace, especially this episode is set to come out in right before the holidays. So I think we could really use a refresher on how this all works. So
yeah, I agree with you. And I had the thought, yes, we're recording at the most joyful time of year, everyone. The peace and joy and hope abound during the holiday season. I am saying that with sarcasm because this is the most chaotic AF time of year. But even though we're recording at this time, I still think that finding peace, learning how to find your peace, learning how to set boundaries, cultivate a sense of peace in your home, in your life is a very useful skill that can help people regardless of the time of year. It's just this topic came up because it's just like, whew, it's that time,
It is. It's that time where everybody is putting more demands on you. You feel that pressure. You feel that societal kind of pressure cooker kind of building up. So when it comes to prioritizing peace, one of the things I did this fantastic breathwork session that you know about, but one of the things that they end with is that I can choose peace instead of this. And to me, that's not exactly what you were talking about, but it is kind of in the same boat as far as right, the way I'm feeling right now is a choice that I didn't consciously make, and I can choose to prioritize my peace right now and choose that rather than this frantic mindset that I seem to be defaulting to.
Yeah, I think that it is harder than ever to find peace. I do not think that our world, at least those of us who live in North America, are in a situation where peace and calm is easily found. It has to be cultivated. It is not a part of our culture to have quiet, peaceful moments. It is a part of our culture to hustle and run yourself into the ground. And during times like the holidays is an even bigger display of how many things can you pack in, how many things can you buy, how many places can you see, how many quote unquote memories can you make. And it does nothing but stress people out financially, emotionally. And in order to find peace in this world, you have to know what it looks like for you. And you also have to get really good at setting boundaries and saying no to the things that don't serve you.
I like that. So I think, much like we talked about anger last week, this week we're talking about peace. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, because I usually am, but is peace not just this kind of state where it's a little bit different for everyone? Like for some people, peace can be like, it's like sitting in that meditation. And for other people, that would be like completely wrong choice.
Be left with
it'd be
thoughts,
chaotic. Yeah, exactly. So there's two types of peace, right? There's internal peace and external peace. external peace, I don't know what that looks like. I think you have to cultivate it inside you and then let that
Right.
emanate out. Whereas when you're not in that right mode, I think you try to control everything outside of you to be calm so that you can feel calm. And it's really like it's, trying to calm the ripples on a lake. It's just not, you got better uses of your time.
You bring up a good point with that. And I was telling you earlier before we started recording that I really think that peace is the opposite of people pleasing. And a lot of people do not feel peace and calm within themselves because they are doing so much for so many other people. And I love what you said about like trying to control different things and situations. I remember very early, like right when I, started therapy, I was maybe like 21, 22 years old. So a long time ago, folks. And I remember sort of, and you like spit out a
I
drink.
just almost spit out my coffee on that
I'm
one.
so glad I could make you spit out your drink today. But I remember sort of describing to the therapist, like, I'm upset about this person and I don't want to upset this other person. And I was trying to make sure that like, I was doing the right thing and making sure my like graduate advisors were happy. And I was like doing all these different things. And the therapist said to me, you are working so hard to make sure everyone else is okay, make sure everyone else is peaceful, to make sure no one else has their feathers ruffled. And because it's like I'm standing trying to put out like so many fires. So everyone else gets calm and peace. And the only person I'm hurting is myself, because by giving everyone peace, by not ruffling feathers, by not saying what I think, by not standing up for myself, all I'm creating is like a tornado of discomfort inside of myself, while everybody else in my life at the time was just walking around, thinking whatever they were doing, saying, feeling, or acting towards me was okay. And so a big part, we talk about peace. We talk about it being, you think about this like Zen meditation moment. But the hard part about cultivating peace is it often requires you to go through, like, discuss hard topics, talk about the things that are bothering you. Again, standing up for yourself, setting a boundary with someone who continues to cross them. And those things on the way to peace are uncomfortable.
I see. So I would definitely say that I'm thinking for myself on this because I'm terrible at setting boundaries. That's actually one of the things that I'm putting kind of down as my theme for next year is cultivating strength. But we can talk about that another time. This year was cultivating health. Next year's strength. As I become the best version of myself in 5 years, I think when we are trying to set boundaries, it's really hard as a people pleaser because you and I, we don't need to go into our histories, but we definitely tried to make sure everyone else around us was happy without really considering our own happiness because we just would feel safer if everybody else was calm. And that's kind of how we found our peace. So do you have any tactics, tips, tricks, medications that might street or pharmaceutical, whichever.
Yeah. I would say just
no.
do drugs, but then we'd pull the clip out and then it'd be taken out of context. And then, it'd go rampant online. And my kids would think it'd be a whole thing.
Yeah,
So,
it'd be a whole thing. Yeah. Drugs, the solution and problem to all of life's things. I think when we look at this, like, how do you do that? Like, how do you come up and go, you know what? I'm going to go do, like, I am not doing 3 houses at Christmas this year. I'm doing my thing. And then, because it's kind of like you're, in one sense, you are trying to get to the eye of the storm where it's calm inside, but you got to go through all those other layers of the storm to get to that center. And was that a good analogy? Did I get 2 this year or was that a bad one?
No, it was. And also I think it's an extra good analogy because even though you can get to the calm center and let's say you set the boundary and you're like, look, it's like too chaotic on Christmas Day. I just want to wake up in my own house, watch my kids open their presents. I don't want to go to three aunties' houses and all this stuff. And so it's a good analogy of the hurricane, because you might get your peaceful day that you want, but then you got to go out the other end, and then you got to deal with the aftermath, right? You
Yeah.
have to deal with all the chaos. So peace comes at a cost. However, I have come to learn that my peace is worth everything. And this is not something I have mastered. It's not something I've learned overnight. I used to let people walk all over me. I used to bend over backwards to make sure that, I was like perfect little Catherine in everybody's eyes, and like the good daughter, or, whatever other title you want to throw in there, good wifey at the time, whatever. And I just tried to do everything by this like societal rule book, and it made a lot of other people happy, but it would cause a lot of stress within myself. And so it's really hard to set boundaries, and just like anything else, it gets better with time. I'm still not good at setting boundaries with certain people. There's some people who like to constantly test it, but I will say that putting boundaries up shows you the people that usually benefit from you having none.
Ooh, I like that. I really like that.
There are a lot of people who benefit from people pleasers and people who like to make everyone else happy, who don't stand up for themselves. And the second those people decide to kind of rise up and set them up, you will notice who doesn't like it right away, who doesn't like the new version of you, because they will not react well to it. And that's the time to double down on the boundaries. It's not easy. I recommend therapy. I think maybe I recommend it in every episode. A lot of self-work. And yeah, like I said, very much still a work in progress. Andrew likes to say I'm very strong and tough and all these things. But there are still situations where I have to go to him and say, like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to set this boundary. Does this sound right? And then I always end up being way too nice. And then Andrew's like, you don't have to be a Southern belle when you set a boundary. You can just set it, And I'm like, you're right. And so like I'm learning and growing and all of these things too. But for me, Andrew, I had to start paying attention, like when my health took a toll, when my stress levels took a toll, and I had to realize, like, if I didn't put myself first, I was just going to get sicker. And it's really the only way that I can move forward and be the best mom to my kids is to, make sure that I'm taking care of me.
Right. And I've seen that. I've seen when the lack of peace shows up in your life, as it does for all of us. Mm-hmm. In different ways, it does really have a negative impact on your health. And it's so to see that is like, we don't want other people to get to that place. We want to be able to help them discover that. So I think one of the things you can start to do, going a little, taking a step back with this. The first thing is to just have that awareness. We always say that awareness is like the first step. So start to have the awareness of what is taking your peace away, or, destroying your peace is maybe a better description. Overcommitment definitely sounds like it's been one for you and I. Mm-hmm. Conflict, again, it's just, we want people to like us. We want to be perceived as like nice and kind and fair. But another one that I think really disrupts most people's peace, and we don't talk about it enough, is social media. And yes. I think it's so ugly in so many ways, because you can be sitting on your couch in your underwear, eating grapes, feeling great about your life choices, and then go on.
As people tend to do.
As one does.
Indeed.
And go on social media and suddenly see everybody's not in their underwear on their couch. Or maybe they do, if that's a different, no, not going there. But you go and you see all these people that are like, just, I'll find the rails and get back on track. Don't worry. Um, but when we start seeing those things, it is amazing that you can be perfectly happy in what you're doing, where you are, and you can be peaceful. And then you open up, you know, some sort of internet thing, whether it's Reddit or social media or just a bad Google search, YouTube, whatever, and then discover that your piece is suddenly gone. And you don't usually recognize it because you're going for that, like the dirty dopamine hit of being on the scroll.
The
But
dirty dopamine hit.
yeah, I like that. I got
I
that from
like
TJ
it.
Power. He's a neuroscientist I follow on Instagram. It's
So,
true though. Like there's
so
good
no domain
dopamine.
name availability for that
Yeah,
one.
probably not. But it's a really good analogy of like, there's good dopamine and there's bad dopamine. Bad dopamine is when you pick up your phone to feel something because you're feeling bored in that moment and you don't really consider the impact on your mental health or your peace or your brain. You want that. It's like the chocolate bar to the piece of fruit for, wanting something sweet. It's just not good for you, but we do it unconsciously. So social media is again that other kind of barrier of your peace where you're like, you are actually inviting that in, but we've all gotten to the place where it's so habitual that to break that habit is really, really hard. I know I struggled with it.
For sure. Like, I actually was just thinking about last year. I was so proud of myself that I took the twins to a parade and they saw Santa and they were happy. And I was like proud because as a hardcore introvert, going to a parade is like the greatest act of love I can do for somebody. And I was feeling good about myself, got on social media and saw like my cousin took like all of her kids to the Nutcracker and everyone was like super dressed up and like, it was very beautiful, expensive holiday experience and I love going to the Nutcracker. And so then I just felt like, garbage that I took my kids to like, the free small town parade and it just makes you feel bad. And I know that that's not valid and I'm a great mom and all the things, but just to give a real example of this time of year of how social media can really destroy your sense of self and really create disruption, within your brain and your body.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it, you were in a great space and
Mm-hmm.
then you went and did this scroll and
Mm-hmm.
it wrecked you in a certain way. And it's not your cousin's fault or anything else.
No.
It's just like, it's this culture that's been cultivated over the last decade or two. And it's really not beneficial to our peace, which is the whole point. So, I mean, you can do digital detoxes. You can do a whole bunch of different things. So if you're kind of wondering how to prioritize your peace, here's some rapid fire things that you can do to start making peace a priority in your life. Start decluttering your mind. You can start to just offload your thoughts that are stuck in your head. It's been a very, very useful tool for both Kat and I. You can practice mindfulness. I personally love to meditate. I also have self-care things. I have a red light panel that I'll just go sit in front of for a few minutes, and it just feels like a warm mother's hug. I can't describe it better than that. It just melts the stresses
That's
in you.
sweet.
It is. You need to have boundaries. So, start gracefully saying no to things that are going to make you feel bad. And like Kat and I said, you may have to, push through the hurricane to get to the eye of the storm. And there may be some stuff on the other end, but that's infinitely better than going to this thing and feeling terrible because one is your choice. The other one is your allowing. And there's a very big difference of those when it comes to your personal power. Unfollow anything that makes you feel negative. And if you don't want to unfollow them, you can just hide them or do whatever strategy that social media platform allows at this point. But if you are going on your phone and you feel worse getting off of it than when you did when you got on with it. So if you're eating grapes in your underwear on the couch and you feel good and you've made all your best
Oh
life
my
choices for the day
gosh.
and you feel bad getting off the couch, off your phone, you go and you're like, I can't believe that this, and this. You are actively destroying your peace, and you need to start bringing that awareness to yourself because you want to feel calm. And when you stop prioritizing your peace, you start to get angry, like last episode, and you start kind of spiraling down into more. I know we
Unpleasant
say no emotions are
emotions.
bad, but just like, yeah,
Yeah.
like harder
Harder
emotions maybe is
ones.
the,
Yeah.
yeah. And the other thing you can do is just create a nice peaceful space for yourself to go to when you start to feel chaotic, when you start to feel frantic, and just start incorporating different calm things in your day. I know for me, I have an Alexa. I have set it up just so that when I say good morning, it plays spa radio. It's just got nice calming sounds. I'll, at the end of the night, I say, Alexa, wind down, and it will turn all the lights down. And I'm starting to train my nervous system to embrace peace on these little daily basis. And even by the act of me vocalizing it and saying it and remembering to say it is a way of prioritizing peace in my own life.
I love that. Really, at the core of finding peace or creating a calm environment within yourself or within your home, really the first step is believing that you are worthy of calm. A lot of people who crave calm are people who grew up in chaotic environments or have a very stressful work life and they crave it, but they're so used to things being that way. They're so used to like having a household where people fight or, just things being really busy or loud that your brain's always going to crave familiarity. And so, in order to believe that you're worth it, you have to set up these different habits, these different cues, and you have to prioritize that feeling. I think it's so important. Like Andrew was saying, like I actually have like physical reactions to stress now. This didn't always used to be the case, but as I've gotten older, um, I've I like will break out in hives. I'll have like, we call them like itch attacks, when I get very, very upset and stressed. And so it's becoming more important than ever for me to know how to maintain peace. If I decide that I care about me and my health and I'm worthy of feeling good and having a calm space. And those are things that I had to decide and prioritize, which makes it easier to set boundaries, which makes it easier to communicate to the people I love around me. When I'm getting stressed or angry or when things are getting elevated. And I never used to do any of those things because I just thought that I had to push down any feelings or discomfort so long as everybody else was okay. And so a big part of this peace process is diving deep into your upbringing, into how your life is now, and figuring out whether it's something you want to repeat or not, if that's the kind of household you want or not, and sort of designing in your mind what a peaceful life looks like for you. And it might take time to get there. I mean, if you're like dreaming of, a mountain home, in a cabin with Wi-Fi so you can work remotely, it might take you time before you can make that dream come true, right? For some people, it can be as simple as, donating, 3 trunk loads of things to uh, the thrift store because just the visual clutter is disrupting your peace. It could be a lot of different things to a lot of people. Like Andrew said, soft lighting, things that make you happy, whatever it is. We want you to know that you deserve to have peace, but it is something in today's day and age that you have to cultivate and insist upon in your life if that is something you value.
Very well said. Um, I think that pieces and I think most of the things we want in our lives, I look at them like muscles that need to be flexed. And if you've been in a chaotic life, your energy, for lack of a better term, is chaotic, and you're going to be attracting that. So when you start to notice that, you know what, I want more peace, that's going to take a little bit of muscle flexing, and you're going to have to work that muscle over and over again. So rather than expecting to wake up one morning and go, I'm going to be peaceful today, and by the time you get to making breakfast, you've lost it and you feel bad, start looking for proof of how you can cultivate peace in your life. So whether that's like you wake up in the morning, instead of jumping out of bed right away, you just lie there for a minute and you just express gratitude for all the things in your life. That is a really, really easy way to feel peaceful inside you. Because that's really what we're talking about right now. Like it's finding that inner peace. If you go to bed at night, or when you go to bed at night, start thinking of all the ways you prioritize peace in your day, if this is the most important thing for you. Another thing that is really good to do is to find a coach and get somebody that can help you get to this state, because trying to do it on your own can be really challenging if nobody else around you is doing it. And we find that a lot from our growth journeys, is that it's a tremendously easier when you have someone else in your corner that is supporting you, and they don't have a dog in the fight, as they like to say somewhere. I'm not sure where, but somebody who's like just kind of going like, no, you know what? You've come to me. You want to prioritize your peace. We are here to help you prioritize your peace. It's not going to be, you're not going from 0 to 100. That would be very painful for you, believe it or not. But we can get you from 0 to 1 to 10 to 20 to 30 to 40. And so that you feel that peace inside of you on a more recurring basis, no matter what is going on in the world outside of you. So getting that coach, that friend, that person in your life that is willing to help you with this journey is key. I can't emphasize enough how getting the right people around you changes everything, because you start to remove the people that are causing the chaos in this case, or the anger or the drama, and you start bringing in the right people, and those right people can show up and can look at like the situation that you viewed as normal your whole life, look at it and go, this is absurd.
Yeah.
Just don't, but that's what you need. You need to just start cultivating peace in all the different ways. So have nice mantras around, like I said, mine is, I can choose peace instead of this when I start to get worked up. It's very, very useful to have these little tools, and they don't take a lot of time. It's just being present with it.
I think that's really good advice. I think it's a good place to end. And of course, if someone needs help and coaching with that, we are available for that if you'd like to chat with us. All right, Andrew. We have a few minutes left. We always end our podcast with a glimmer. Glimmers are the shiny, happy things that bring us joy, and we just like to share it with you as a way of ending the podcast on a happy note. So what's your glimmer for today?
My glimmer today is that breathwork session that I discovered. It was like, it was like a 60-minute thing that I just downloaded, got off the interwebs, and it really did help me release some past energy that was stuck. I'm looking forward to doing it again. And, very, very, I've never really done it I've done like small breathwork exercises, 5, 10, 15 minutes, but to do like this whole 75-minute thing, I think is what it was in the end, just gave me such a different feeling. And it just really emphasized to me that, look, if you're feeling bad at 1, by 2, you can feel completely different if you choose to. You just have to make that choice. So I really like that. How about you, Kat?
That's pretty cool.
It really was. What's your glimmer?
For me, last month, I went home to Louisiana, where I grew up. But the difference is that I got like a whole week alone with just my dad and me. My mom was traveling for work. And for all the middle children out there, you know how rare that is if you get to go and have one-on-one time with one of your parents. And so I was helping him with a couple of things and, going through some belongings and, helping my siblings like get some things that they needed at their homes. And, but yeah, it was just my dad and me, and it was great. We chilled. We went out to eat, and like the whole time I was so present, and I was just like, I am so lucky that I get this one-on-one time. And I just like felt like all the work that we do, and I didn't take it for granted. And I was just trying to like cement it all in my memory. And it was so glimmery.
I love that. That is an awesome one. I'm sure you'll
Thanks.
cherish that forever. It's really happy for you.
Thank you.
Well, everyone, thanks again for listening, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Hey, one last thing. Don't forget to go to 5yearyou.com/future to start getting those emails from your future self. It will change your life.
Hey guys, quick disclaimer. We're podcasters on the internet. If you need to seek professional help, please go see your healthcare professional.